My garage door motor has been giving me a little bit of grief in the past with the radio connection to the car link, but I fixed that by just using a smart opener adapter. That worked great, but now it finally died on me, so it gave me a reason to replace this. This is an old LiftMaster. As usual in instances like this, now it works again, but I know it had several times it had stopped working. It feels like something's blocked, and I believe this motor is about to go out. So in any event, combine this uncertainty combined with the fact that I can't really use the remote anymore leads me to believe I should replace it. I bought a Chamberlain, which is apparently the parent corporation of LiftMaster. They're supposedly compatible. And the Chamberlain has a backup battery, which I enjoy, which I think I will enjoy, because here in Texas we have a pretty awful power grid, and often power goes out for a few minutes or sometimes longer. And then it's kind of annoying that you have to walk around and open the garage by hand and so on. So we'll see how this goes. So there's a ton of stuff in here. There's a new rail, which probably will replace this one. The old one here is chain driven, the new one is belt driven, which supposedly guarantees quieter operation. Bunch of bits and bobs and pieces. I guess that's the backup battery here. Some wiring. This is here that piece that will fetch the garage door. So I'm guessing this will go up here and this will connect here, like so. So the plan is to disconnect here, unmount the rail from here. It's only hung from the front wall and here the motor itself. So this entire unit, motor plus rail, should come out. Okay, so the idea is to remove the motor from the mount here. That includes the whole track, and hopefully the new one just fits without further ado. Just here on this, on the same level. It needs to be leveled, of course. Replace this with the new one that would fit the new rail. Need to figure out how to get the belt on there, and the rest, the electrical part, should basically just translate one-on-one. And it came with a new button that I can use or not, and then hopefully it's pretty straightforward. Let's find out. Disconnect this here. Actually, it's easier to open it and then release it from there. Alright. This down. Try my way through this piece by piece. This will be the end of the rail towards the wall, because I think there will be the the little gear, the sprocket in here that the belt runs over. I guess I can connect this together. Check if it's the same length. There's nothing irreversible right now. I'm not doing anything wrong. That's good. That seems to be the same length. Okay. This piece, not sure what it's called. I would call it a sleigh or a sled or something. That's analog to this one. Pretty sure it needs to be mounted the same way. So let's just slide right over here. Yep. Okay, it looks like this is the bracket that mounts the rail to the wall. So now I'm going to start removing the old one. See if I can get a good grip there. I might need some other wall anchors or something. And let's see where this takes me. Access to the makes life much easier. Good. Things like bolts and security rings and so on, I keep around. I'm not particularly a hoarder, but I feel like these things are so special in the way they're made. I have a hard time throwing this stuff away. So I'll keep it for whatever might come up in the future. There's the camera seeing this? Yep, okay. Alright, so on top here of the motor is a... Let's see if I can move the camera over for a moment. On the top of the motor, under this cover, is the sprocket that runs the chain. And the rail is connected here. So I guess I should take the chain off first. I think I saw this already here. Yeah, right here. This is the thread that tightens the chain. So all I'm gonna have to do is loosen this here. It should give me enough slack, take the chain off the sprocket, pull it down, and then remove the rail from the motor. Here's the chain. All right. From here. This white little box here is my, should disconnect this first, it's my smart controller. Actually, the new motor has some built-in smart functionality. So I might not need this anymore because alright, now it hangs purely by weight on these 2 bolts. I lift the motor a little bit, I should be able to pull those out and remove the entire thing. Let's give the lamp on this. Hopefully I'm tall enough to reach this. Go. There he goes. Alright, so this piece here, bracket, some sort of bracket, obviously will be mounted on here. It's similar to this on the old one. So this must be installed on the rail somehow. So it looks like, if I slide this in here, probably have to tap it in with a hammer. It seems to be exactly the same length as the old rail. I just compared them. That is great. Yeah, make sure you keep that motor on the plastic or cardboard or something, so if you move it around you don't scratch the bottom part where the light is. The rail's gonna go on here like so. And this bracket here, there's actually a little stopper here, so it needs to go in all this way. A slight taps with a hammer shouldn't require any brute force. That's good. Alright, this is the mounting bracket that goes on the wall. There's a little marker in there, which side is up. I'm gonna mount that right there. Okay, I have a stud finder. I just want to show you guys that the stud finder actually works. This is not the wall I'm gonna mount. I just wanted to show you that it works because on the front. Okay, so there's a stud here, which we can literally hear. So the stud finder is fine. I'm just showing you this because if I put it up here, it lights up everywhere, which is a good thing, because that means they pull it in battery down. I pulled in a board here, or a stud or a beam or something, because this has to hold the weight of the rail, of course. So just wanted to double check that I can use the same screws and just screw them to the wall. Shouldn't be a problem. I've got to drill a pilot hole here. There is drywall, but there's a board or beam behind it, which is good, of course. Wait, my drill is broke. What the heck? Must be a good board in there. I just broke the drill bit off. Okay, so I'm leaning this on the ladder. Oh, it still seems to fit. That's a good thing. Well, there should be, in the package here, there should be a sprocket. This here is going to run the belt. I'm surprised this doesn't have any sprockets, any teeth, anything. Oh, okay, but the motor does. Okay. Now I think I should mount the motor before I install the belt. Just want to see if I can still get that in once it's mounted. Yeah, it looks like it. Can't move the ladder right now because it's holding my motor up. I want to use the same bolt here. Okay, push carefully. Hoping not to tip anything over. Okay, this works. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up here. Can't go anywhere anymore, so also there's support at the bottom. I'm going to mount it here. I hope it lines up directly. Looks like it will. Try to lift this on my shoulder. This thing has some heft to it. It's not heavy, but it's nevertheless substantial. Oh, okay. This. Okay. We're cup. Here is a tab somewhere in the rail. I'm just holding up the camera right now that I need to bend up. I believe it's the stopper for the sled here. Bend this up. This is sort of a breaker, or not a breaker, a stopper. The sled doesn't go further than it should. Okay, now it'll hit there. Okay, so just loosen these screws here a little bit. Take them out so I can move this lever a little bit forward so it's long enough to reach the sled up there. this in. I'm gonna lock this in here. That's another one of those bolts here with a security ring. That's all it is. Okay. Where these line up. I think this would be the right angle here. Yeah. So it would be the 3/4 hole here. I believe I need to disconnect this all the time. I just need to figure out the length here, because in order to install the build, I think I need to slide this back because I need to install a spring here and tighten it and all that. I'll remove this one more time. Get this out. So you can tell I've never done this before. I just looked at the old one. I know Chamberlain is supposedly compatible with LiftMaster, and so far everything looks like it's fine. And I'm making my way through. So these videos are in part supposed to maybe help you with if you have a problem, but my bigger intention is maybe just to encourage you to not always call somebody when something seems broken or potentially difficult. It often isn't as difficult as it seems. With some common sense and looking at everything, you can often figure out stuff. Okay, so this little gear sprocket here has some grease in the, what's that called in English? In the hub, right? There's only one piece of hardware that fits this bolt. And that's why they taped it up here so the grease doesn't get wiped off. Here. And then I'm just gonna have to, I'm holding the phone with one hand right now. Just gonna install the bolt from the top. This here is a perfect fit. So the way the bolt is made, you can tighten it, but the wheel here stays loose. Obviously, it has to spin. Shouldn't be a breaker. Should be a brake in there. It just needs the support. All right, now we gotta get the belt on. So the belt, I guess, from what I gathered so far, hooks into here on the sled. Gonna feed it around the roller over there, comes back, goes around the sprocket here, and then connects here, and there should be, there's some sort of spring utility that should help me to how to say, I put the tension on, I guess. Well, the belt is wrapped up. You can tell already the inside has the teeth here that feed to the sprocket up there. Okay, so here's the hooked end of the belt. This is gonna go in here. Okay. Okay, one thing is clear. I need to stop the sled from moving. That should do it. I think I'm going to have to feed it over here. You definitely want to block that slit there so you can pull on the belt. And I think later we're probably going to have to build some tension. And that needs to be locked in place. Oh, and these screws have all different sizes. It's a little annoying. Wheel out. Feed the belt through here. First bit. Install the rail, but 2020. So I'm going to feed it around here. I can't do this because my tripod isn't tall enough. So I'm going to feed it around the sprocket here. I hope it's in frame. There. And then it's going to come back here and connect to the sled there. So there's a bunch of grease here on the sprocket. But it's actually all piled up on one side. I'm just gonna take some here with my finger and distribute it around. Seems to be more conducive. Back here, and there's some sort of spring element somewhere that I need to connect. This is what the spring looks like. Apparently this is currently loaded, and this will connect here, the belt through here, and there's a little warning note here that tells me I have to unload the spring afterwards, I think. Spring trolley, okay. So the funny thing is, in my box there was absolutely no manual for the actual installation, only for programming the unit and so on. So I had to find a manual, like a PDF file online. Here's what I gathered. So this here, the spring comes off the shaft here. I'm gonna feed that into that sled there and just screw it on with 2-3 loose twists. We want this as long as possible, then we have to connect it there. There should be a link piece here in my hardware bag somewhere to connect it. And then I'm gonna hand tighten it as much as I can, but only by hand. And then you see in the ring here, these little notches here, see that? I'm gonna hold on to that with the screwdriver and then release with the wrench. This side, this should unload or actually load the spring, I guess. And then the tension should be set. This goes through here. This is so tight. Let's move this on just a little bit. So it won't come off. It's harder than okay, this is the twist. Leave it there. Make sure whenever you mess with the belt that is not twisted at any point. Okay, this will feed over here now. Pull around the sprocket a little bit more. Put the belt around here. See this reaching here now? This is like a chain link in a bicycle chain. Fits here, fits here. Then there is the top piece here. And then This secures the whole thing, hold it in place. Hope I'm not losing this. I need glasses for this. Okay, there it is. All right. Now I tighten this in my hand until it doesn't have any slack. The instructions that I found online said not to use any tool here, only tighten this by hand. Just remove all the slack as much as you can by hand. And the spring here should take care of the rest. Alright, now it has no more slack. We inspect everything that I've... Okay. So it runs around the wheel here. Comes around here. There's no twists anywhere. Bit of an odd design that this, I guess that's what this padding here is for. The ribs or the teeth here of the belt, you just run past it. Goes around the sprocket. Oh, can't see anything right now. It comes back here. The spring. Okay. Keep the screwdriver out now. So I'm going to hold this ring by sticking the flathead here in one of those notches. Okay, I'm going to lock in here with this. You heard it. You see the spring came apart here. Increase the tension. And this is supposed to be it. Alright. So I took the cover off here on the side. And here's the terminal for the connections. I hope that is in my instructions. I can see kind of a little bit that the white section says ground. The red one is CMD. I believe that's, I don't know, command or something. That's probably just the one. These two should be for red and white cables here, wires. At the moment, I don't get any activity here. I decided to see all my wiring here, so there's a bunch of stuff coming from the wall and also from the garage door with that emergency brake thing. Not really sure why there's a total of 3 coming out of my ceiling. I am separating them right now to just minimize the situation here and just isolate everything. I just want to find out which of these pairs goes actually to the wall over there. So the way to do this is I'm gonna use my multimeter here and I'm gonna check over there. I'm gonna dismantle the button by the wall and then connect my lines from the meter to here. And if I connect the 2 wires over there, I should have a bridge here, a short circuit. So I set my meter to ohms. And I'm going to take this off so I have access to the wire here. Since I'm taking this off anyway, I might as well replace it with a new button because it looks nicer. And this one is clearly about to crumble. I still am a little bit worried that the motor doesn't turn on at all, because it really should. It shouldn't require the other button or anything. All that does is, when you press the button, all it does, it connects this to here. In any event, I'll take this off now. And figure out which pair up there on the ceiling is this cable here. So currently nothing's connected anywhere. So I'll take my meter, just in case you've never done this. These multimeters allow you to measure voltages and amps and ohms for resistance. And if you take your two lines here and connect them, then this should, on ohms, should show 0 or close to 0. That means this connection is fine. Now if I break them up, you have an interruption. So currently, the other ends of these here, they're not connected anywhere. So currently, when I use this, I shouldn't have anything, as expected. I'm going to go over here. I suspect it's these two. And to make sure, I'm going to tie them together now. And if that's the two wires that end up in the wall, then I would see a connection here now. Try that again. Some multimeters have a beeper that makes your life easier. This one doesn't. But I can already tell this works. Okay. So I don't know if it's in frame here. But these two wires that are just connected up there are the ones that end up in the wall here. Okay. Shorten this a little bit. They're awfully long. And feed red to red and white to white. Although that shouldn't even matter. As long as the button bridges these two. Now, normally I would expect, if I connect these two now, this is all the button does, is bridging these two. The motor should start. But it doesn't. Alright, I think I got a little ahead of myself. It's exciting. It makes sense. From what I could read, we need to adjust the travel distance of the door first. So I really need to connect the door first. I just wanted to check earlier if the motor's spinning, but I guess this is probably a safety feature. I hope that's what it is. I need to connect the door first and then program how far the sled travels to open, save that, and then how far it travels to close and save that. I'm guessing, I hope, the motor just won't run until I have programmed that. And then of course I still have to adjust the emergency stop thing with the photo sensor. But first I want the basic functionality. So I'm gonna see if I can make that happen. So first I need to connect my door here. bar. I can use the hand release, move it over, and then pull the door up by hand. Okay. Release it. Connect it. So I'm supposed to press this button, then push the up button, which opens the door, and then release it when the door reaches the fully open position, and then save it with that center button. Then press the down button until it's fully closed, and save that position. It's not moving at all. Alright, so all my other wires here are coming from the pre-wiring for the safety feature with that photo sensor. I'm beginning to wonder if this somehow requires this to be installed. To be on the safe side, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna install those first and wire it all up. Maybe there's some built-in safety feature where the motor won't run until those sensors are connected. Before I'm gonna install the sensors, I'm gonna also install the backup battery. First I'm gonna unplug the motor, obviously. Battery. This should just be a plug and play situation. Color coded plus and minus here. Positive, negative. It goes on red. That goes on black. And once the motor is plugged in, it should begin charging the battery. It should not be necessary for operation. It's just a simply a backup in case the power goes out, which happens fairly often in Houston. It goes in sideways. Alright, that's that. Here they are. One should be a sending and one should be a receiving sensor. These are brackets to mount them on the rail here. They come with pretty long cable in case your garage is not pre-wired. That's kind of nice. And you would have to run the wires yourself, but I can use the ones that have been in place here. Now, unfortunately, the wiring is attached directly to the sensors, so I have to cut this and connect it here to the existing. Okay, so you need clamps like these. I'm going to cut the wire off on the sensor and connect it to the existing one that comes out of the wall. This off, split it apart, take some of the mantle off here, here. Looks like I keep using the old bracket. Make sure that fits. So same here. I'm cutting this off. I'll leave a little bit left on here just in case I use this somewhere else someday. Who knows for what. And these should receive power from the motor. And I'm beginning to wonder if the motor just won't turn on until the safety feature is installed. Maybe that's a matter of code nowadays. Okay. Black on black and white on white. So they're color coded, so you don't mix them up. Now what you do here is just put the two together that belong together, same color. And twist them up a little bit. And screw this cap on. When your connection is safe, but it's also insulated from any short circuits. Find the mounting material. The sensor comes with this bolt screw here. Fits in here. That goes through the bracket there, and on the other hand is a wing nut. So let's do that. This eye section here obviously has to point towards the traffic. One of this bracket is angled right. I guess it's okay. Okay, so that one's in place. Now do the same thing on the other side. Here's the other one. So I just see here that my old sensor has some weird taping going on. I never paid attention to it. It worked, but I guess maybe the previous owner had to fix something. I'm not sure. I know when I take it off. what's going on here. The whole thing is wrapped in tape. I don't know why they taped some felt stuff on here. Oh, the whole bracket is trash, I guess. Okay, let's remove this. I should probably remove the bracket on the other side as well and use the new one. Okay, get this off here. Pay attention to the color here. Black and white together and white together. That's all it is. It just clamps on like this. Oh, got the wrong wing nut. To tuck this away later. I don't accidentally yank it out when I take the tools away here. Okay. All right, according to the PDF manual, these stay together the way they used to. Well, they're here now red, but they're sure they translate into the black ones over there. They should go in the gray connector here. The white ones are just grounds. And they can just go on the other white one here. Too long and I want them to short out. Shorten those a little bit. If they're too long, they stick out too far of the terminal. Then there's a risk that they might touch someday somehow. If they touch, shorting out the functionality here. Okay, white to white and marked the gray one here or black one around this. They don't seem to stick. Okay, now it's better. Okay, I'll plug this in again. I I see lights on my sensors down there. There's a green one, there's a yellow one. I believe green is sending, yellow is receiving. I gotta take a look in the manual to figure out why one's flashing, the other one is solid. Also, I'm getting some red control light flashing here now. Alright, so it's exactly the opposite. The yellow light here means this is the sending sensor and it just means it's powered on. The flashing, if the green one's flashing or off, it means it's not aligned properly. So I should move this until the green light is solid. See if we can angle this differently here. Just out of curiosity, take it off. It's never solid. It's always flashing. There. Now it's solid. It's too high. I'm going to remove this bracket. Use the one that came with it. Well, that's awkward. I feel like the angles are a problem here. See how this is leaning back? But this is really due to my garage door. So I feel like this faces this way away from the door, and so does the other one, where they should be really in a parallel situation here to the wall, but it's clearly off. So I would have to bend this way. Now I ripped off the hole. So the whole thing should bend a little this way. That. I hope that helps. Okay. No, I overdid it. No, maybe not. Remember to tuck the sleeve cable away later when I'm done. That's kind of, it's actually leaning towards the other direction now. Okay, adjust that a little bit. Try this again here. That's not good enough. I'm going to try the same with this bracket. It's very long. Into any spot where it's right. So one more time, the goal is to get this light to be solid green, which means it's in proper position here. Take that off once more. And try to do the same thing to this bracket. Bend it ever so slightly. Success! I bent the other bracket a little bit, found the right spot, and now I have a solid green light. That is the way it should be. Obstruction, meaning the dog, the cat, the toddler sits here, right? And then you have a sensor to pick that up. Okay. Now everything is wired the way it should be. I'm not sure why that light's flashing red there. Figure that out next. So one info I found in the PDF is that the red flashing light would indicate a fault of the security sensors. I'm going to unplug this here for a little bit. This will cover just the sprocket that is connected to the motor that moves the belt. Okay, so I took a minute or so here to install that cover. All this time I had this unplugged. I'll plug this back in. I hope this red flashing light is then gone. Better. So now I would have to program the opening and the closing travel distance. So I hope it's gonna work now. So far I have not ever seen that motor make any twitch. I'm gonna connect. It's gonna move. That in frame here, yeah. Press this button. opened. Now I'll press the middle button again. Now I have to move it down. Save that. I'm supposed to open that again, I guess? Why now? What's happening? I'll press the up button again. Should run to its place. Now press the down button again. Alright, programmed. Now, if I pretend I have a switch here, currently I don't. If I just touch these two wires, I would expect this to open. No, it's not. Why is that? This is the terminal here, red and white. Buttons are more sophisticated than I give them credit for. So this here, by the way, is not dangerous. This is low voltage, just for controls. Okay. Light switch works. Ah! I'm amazed. It works. I'm gonna close it and see if my safety sensor works. Hit the close button. And when I interrupt this with my foot, it should stop. Great. Looks like we have success here. So that is it. This took a little longer than I expected, but I replaced more things than I was planning to. So I'm kind of glad to have these new sensors, because the old one I've learned looked a little shady. I adjusted those angles there, but overall it was a pretty straightforward process. Cool, I like it. So this is the Chamberlain. This is the Chamberlain B6753T. I'm gonna probably make 2-3 more videos about this. Once to pair with the app, once to pair with the car link buttons, and also this apparently has a camera built in. I didn't really notice. So this might be useful. And see you soon.